First up, there's a woman in charge of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and that woman in charge, her name is Janet Yellen. She's become the first woman to take the reins at the Federal Reserve. She's stepping in after Ben Bernanke becoming the most powerful central banker in the world. The question is where Yellen will lead the U.S. central bank and its stimulus of the U.S. economy. Cal Brown has more.
Taking the oath on Monday, Janet Yellen is considered a safe pair of hands to take over at the U.S. Federal Reserve. Backed by President Barack Obama, the 67-year-old economist is expected to continue the policies of her predecessor, Ben Bernanke, who is credited with ushering the American economy out of its worst crisis since the Great Depression.
I think we all agree, Mr. President, that more needs to be done to strengthen the recovery, particularly for those hardest hit by the Great Recession. We have made progress.
As a member of the Fed for more than a decade, including 3 years as Ben Bernanke's deputy, Yellen is not expected to stray from the measures undertaken by the central bank to stimulate a long-flagging U.S. economy.
It's a nice, kind of a seamless switch from the Bernanke head of the Fed to Yellen. They've worked very closely together, both on quantitative easing, on forward guidance, and now on actually tapering down quantitative easing.
The Fed cut interest rates to near zero in late 2008 as part of efforts to lift the U.S. economy out of recession. And Bernanke launched a program of massive bond buying to push down borrowing costs before tapering the measure. Bond purchases were reduced again in February from $75 billion to $65 billion a month. Yellen is expected to continue to wind down the stimulus program, but she's not likely to argue for a hike in interest rates until next year.
Now, sleaze and corruption costs the European Union 120 billion euros every year. That's according to the European Commission and a report it's just published. Commissioner Cecilia Malmström says all 28 European Union members are affected. Padded government contracts and bribes to secure healthcare are among the most prevalent forms of corruption. The report also shows that 4 out of 10 companies in the EU see corruption as a problem. Almost all companies in Greece, Spain and Italy believe that it's widespread.
Number, you will see all the details in the Eurobarometer of companies say that actually the level of corruption in that or that country hinders us from making investment or did not allow us to make a proper public procurement offer. We might not have got it anyway, but at least to make it the proper, transparent way. And that's why we lose a lot of money.
OK, staying with Europe, manufacturing in the 18 countries that use the euro is picking up again. A closely watched index shows that Eurozone manufacturing reached its highest level since May 2011 in January. The Purchasing Managers Index from research firm Market is seen as a sign that the recovery is gaining ground. Germany is leading the way and its manufacturing sector is at a 32-month high. A reading over 50 signals an expansion. Under 50 means contraction. Keep that in mind as we now look at the figures. Manufacturing in countries like Spain and Greece are above the key threshold. In Greece's case, for the first time since 2009. Manufacturing in France, though, is getting better, but it is still contracting, as you can see there. As the Eurozone heads higher, growth in the American manufacturing sector slowed down. The so-called ISM index fell from 56.5 in December to 51.3 in January. Harsh winter weather is being blamed for part of the slowdown. And that manufacturing data from the United States is putting a damper on trading stateside this Monday. Stock markets had a weak January, as you may remember, trading down for the first month or for the month as a whole. February is not off to a great start either over on Wall Street. As you can see there, the Nasdaq taking a particular hit, down 2.5% this hour. European markets, they were also dragged lower by the manufacturing data coming out of the United States. The Frankfurt DAX and the London FTSE particularly hard hit, the FTSE down 1.4%. Shares in a British banking group Lloyds lost almost 4% during trading on Monday. It came as the lender is taking a further £1.8 billion charge for mis-selling insurance to customers. Lloyds has now set off almost £10 billion in total. The extra charge dashed shareholder hopes of the bank being able to pay out a dividend for 2013. Cold weather was seen to keep American car buyers away from showrooms last month. Ford, General Motors, Toyota and Volkswagen have all reported weaker US sales figures for January. GM predicts that monthly sales for the industry as a whole were 15.3 million cars. That's a smidgen higher than for the same period in 2013, but well below analysts' estimates, I should say. Chrysler, Nissan and Subaru provided some bright spots with their sales ticking higher. And a French business delegation has kicked off a visit to Iran. It comes as President Hassan Rouhani is trying to roll out the red carpet for foreign investors to revive the Iranian economy. The delegation from France includes executives from oil company Total, engineering firm Alstom and car maker Renault. It's the biggest European trade delegation to visit Iran in over 30 years. We'll have to wait and see whether or not it gives any contracts